Well, okay, that's probably a good place to sort of segue into the DNC coverage from this week with the Democrats doing their, typical convention prior to, the lead up to the election and, getting Biden his official endorsement, etc. So to be the president and Kamala Harris for vice president. I guess what was different this time, just from maybe if we focus on the technical aspect, was that it wasn't done, with thousands and thousands of people around, all doing their votes, etc. It was all done virtually because of the COVID situation, and so you didn't have the cheering crowds and people, raising their hand to, cast their ballots or whatever it is that they do, yell at each other, whatever. So it was definitely an interesting change, least of which maybe this is a good thing. It led to shorter speeches and all that sort of stuff just to get the same point across. I thought there was a couple of effective speeches in there too, but the interesting thing being that aside from the technical delivery where there wasn't that usual pomp and circumstance, surrounding it, despite the Hollywood production values that they put into it. There seemed to be that overarching narrative that they weren't really pushing policy. It was more about, no, we're battling for the soul of the country here. We've got the guy that can, deliver on that, and we can't afford 4 more years of Trump, effectively. So it was an interesting couple of days, and it'll be interesting to see if that message actually managed to get out there and resonate with people when that immediate feedback wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't want to be disparaging, but that message I think is pretty much all the Democrats have got this time around. I think their choice of Biden is just plain weird. Not that I'd support or even want to see Bernie Sanders running, but he would have made more sense, I guess, from an external looking in perspective. And I mean, they're kind of burdened with a weird thing, which I'm sure Trump will go for, which is a vote for Biden's a vote for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
she could well be president within 2 years. So, and he'll use any trick now to destabilise them. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Because that message is strong, but I'm not sure that the team they have is strong.
Yeah, well, maybe the one thing that they needed to do. I mean, we've sort of joked in the past about Biden's lucidity, for lack of a better term, but the one thing that he was able to do in that speech was actually to present himself convincingly enough to say that he could actually stand up and actually speak for half an hour without tripping over his words or forgetting things or whatever, which is counter to the narrative that's been coming out recently about whether or not he can actually do that.
But he had the auto cue.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see him actually freestyle it. And that's the big test. If he can do that, then I'll believe the Democrat call to arms about repairing and moving on from the last 4 years. I'll believe it. But, I mean, it's probably an effect of COVID, but we really haven't seen enough of Biden to know what he's like.
Well, then maybe it's just something that has to be done in stages. So this is like my devil's advocate explanation here, being that this first speech was enough to kind of settle some potential doubts, maybe, and then maybe it's the move into the presidential debates where he will have to freestyle it to be able to get through it. Apart from the usual statements that they have to make, which obviously they can prepare ahead of that. Obviously, there's going to be some instances in those debates where Trump will throw him some curveballs, and we'll see then whether or not he can stand up to it.
Well, I just want to see them go one-on-one mentally at each other, and let's see who's impaired and who's not.
Absolutely. It'll be a definite quality TV entertainment, to say the least.